Nyozho, my Isaac family, I am so proud of Dr. Charlet and the board for their persistence in bringing us together despite these uncertain times. My name is Mee Moua, and I have been a long time admirer and friend of the Isaac family. I know you will agree with me that it has been hard to stay focused on living as a beloved community under the real, scary, and uncertain consequences of a global pandemic, made all the more painful by the global witnessing of our brother George's public execution. I will admit that I have been feeling scared, overwhelmed, sad, angry, numbed, and at times paralyzed. In one of my deepest low points, my teacher, Auntie Puanani Burgess, reminded me that a movement is based on the commitment of one person. She said, once a person builds that movement within themselves, it becomes easier to find like people who have built that movement within themselves. She says, if you want the world to be different, start by looking within. Comforted and inspired by her words, I've decided to turn inward and have spent the last several months reintroducing me to myself. And guess what? A most wonderful thing happened. When I openly and honestly shared with friends and families about my inward journey, I found fellow travelers who are also on a similar path. And many of them have shared their sources of nourishment with me as we've journeyed together. So today, I want to share 2 poems with you, which were gifted to me by my fellow travelers, which have reawakened in me much hope and inspiration. The first poem is Hope by the Reverend Victoria Stafford, and it was sent to me by my teacher, Auntie Pua, on April 9th, the week after our state imposed a stay-at-home order, and we were told to socially distance ourselves from our neighbors, our friends, and our loved ones. So here's Hope by the Reverend Victoria Stafford. She says, our mission is to plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not the prudent gates of optimism, which are somewhat narrower, nor the stalwart, boring gates of common sense, nor the strident gates of self-righteousness, which creak on shrill and angry hinges, nor the cheerful, flimsy garden gate of everything is going to be all right, but a different, sometimes lonely place of truth-telling about your own soul first of all, and its condition. The place of resistance and defiance from which you see the world both as it is and as it could be, as it will be. The place from which you glimpse not only struggle, but joy in the struggle. And we stand there beckoning and calling, telling people what we are seeing, asking them what they see. Hope by the Reverend Victoria Stafford. Almost 3 months later, as we watched the world respond to the spiritual pandemic of racial injustice in this country, my other teacher and brother, Kevin Fong, shared this poem with me. It's called When the Ones, written by his amazing friend, Taj James. When the ones. When the ones to the right of you, the ones 2 steps ahead of you, reach the limits of their strength, courage, compassion, or imagination, will you, at that exact moment, be close enough, connected enough, trusted enough to take the baton and dash to the next horizon, or retrieve it from where it lies fallen? Do you have the foresight? Do you have a deep enough and wide enough love? Do you have the insight to see that we're all on the same team? We're all in the same play, each one of us an essential part. Do you know why you are here? Will you meet your moment when it calls, when it whispers in your ear or smacks you upside your head? Have you woven a tight enough basket to carry the water? Have you painted a beautiful enough picture to step into the future? Did you sing that heartbreaking song that opened our eyes to the truth of who we are? Have you built enough strength and power to lift the baton, to bear the gauntlet, to persist until the next horizon? Are you prepared to pass or to drop the bundle of seeds? After the final song, after the last push, joy unto the last breath? Asking too much? Don't despair. The power is not in you. It flows through you. It exists between us. It is the power of all your relations, all your ancestors and dependents, honored, acknowledged, and loved. Let it flow. Gratitude and surrender heals and strengthens. It is the place from which our true power springs, the power we need to do the impossible. Tap into your power. Do the impossible. So, as much as I long for a day when 1,000 strong Isaac family members could gather in person in one place for your annual celebration, until that day comes, we must continue to persist, insist, and make ways for us to keep affirming that we are a beloved community, even if we have to transcend our physical limitations. So in the spirit of affirming our common humanity, affirming the hard work, the discipline, and the practice needed to stay grounded in love and compassion, affirming our need to care for one another, I gift to each of you these two poems as we are on this journey towards racial justice together.